AEW president Tony Khan lashes out at combat sports journalist Ariel Helwani after he appeared on SmackDown last night, calling him a fraud. Helwani has since responded and Khan has gone back in. We've got the latest details on that. Keith Lee has made his return to AEW last night on Rampage. The House of Black confront the Elite on last night's show. Also, Hangman Page was almost detained before AEW Dynamite this week. An update on Fight Forever, including some new gameplay involving Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson. We've got the full lineup for the AEW Revolution Tag Team Battle Royale. Mercedes Monet meets Kenny Omega and also discusses her upcoming New Japan Pro Wrestling debut. Thunder Rosa gives an update on her AEW status. And The House Always Wins. When is that going to be released? Tony Khan gives us more details. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling, and a big one involves the AEW president Tony Khan and Ariel Helwani going back and forth. There's been some beef between them recently, and I think it stems from an interview that Khan did with Helwani, but it's taken another step. It's gone up a level after Ariel Helwani's appearance last night on SmackDown in Montreal. Now, Friday's SmackDown in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, of course, served as the go-home show for tonight's Elimination Chamber event. During the show, combat sports reporter, pundit, and podcaster Ariel Helwani twice appeared holding a microphone with a WWE logo while standing in the crowd. While he had previously narrated some video features on WWE programming via his work for BT Sports, the company's broadcast partner here in the United Kingdom, this was by far Helwani's most overt association yet with the company. Helwani shared the clip of one of his appearances on Twitter, commenting on it only with a trio of exploding head emojis. Many of his fans cheered him on, but at least one prominent figure in the wrestling business was far from happy. Quote, "You're a fraud," Ariel Helwani wrote AEW president Tony Khan in a tweet of his own. "You are as legitimate of a reporter as Tony Schiavone." Now, Khan was seemingly referring to how, among other things, Helwani has reported on major WWE news as recently as January 1st, when, in a tweet, he attempted to debunk reports of WWE agreeing to sell the company to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. Previously, in October, Khan appeared on Helwani's podcast, The MMA Hour. The interview proved contentious, with Khan refusing to address the post-show backstage brawl at All Out in September. Helwani later called the interview, quote, "one of the most frustrating of my career." In the aftermath, Helwani was criticised for not directing a similar level of scrutiny towards WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque during an interview he conducted with him in September. Now, again, there has been even more than just the back and forth. Again, the original tweet from Tony Khan was, quote, and you can see it on the screen right there, "You're a fraud, Ariel Helwani. You're as legitimate of a reporter as Tony Schiavone." Now, as I mentioned, Helwani then responded saying, quote, "Thanks for watching, old friend. Can't wait for our next chat. Also, don't listen to the snowman, Schiavone. You're a legend in my books." Now, Tony Khan also then responded with a follow-up saying, quote, "Good luck with the unbiased journalism." Now, of course, Helwani does do interviews with other people outside of pro wrestling and combat sports. He's interviewed the likes of KSI, the PDC World Darts Champion Michael Smith, WWE's Cody Rhodes as well. There is a relationship, certainly, with Helwani and WWE because, as I mentioned, he works with BT Sport, WWE's broadcast partner over here in the UK. But also, when he had that interview with WWE CEO Nick Khan, I believe it was last year or the year prior, that's because Ariel Helwani, his agent, used to be none other than Nick Khan, so he has strong connections within the company. Whether or not this was professional from Tony Khan or whether or not you side with Ariel Helwani in this one, you can let me know in the comment section below, but certainly, as one would expect, it got a lot of people talking on social media. Now, Khan also is set to make a major announcement next week on Dynamite. He's going to be back with another important announcement. AEW President Tony Khan will make, quote, "an important announcement" on next week's episode of AEW Dynamite, the company revealed during Friday's Rampage Slam Dunk episode. Well, there is no word on the nature of the announcement. It's worth noting that Khan teased a major announcement as it pertains to his secondary promotion, Ring of Honor, on the Busted Open Radio podcast earlier this week. During his appearance, Khan revealed that Ring of Honor TV will be starting up again very soon, hinting that the promotion had secured a new television or streaming rights deal. Of course, we do know that it's going to be on Honor Club, so it's not going to be a new deal or anything like that. Khan further revealed that the set of TV tapings will take place in Orlando on February 25th and 26th at Universal Studios Soundstage 19, the home of AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. In previous years, fans have accused Khan of using the major announcement line to pique the interest of casual viewers, a strategy that helped AEW shore up TV ratings, even if the announcement itself proved to be underwhelming. It remains to be seen if the latest announcement will help AEW bounce back from its dwindling ratings in recent weeks, seeing how Dynamite garnered its lowest viewership since November 2022 this past week. The sudden announcement of a major announcement, certainly some are seeing to be a bit not too coincidental. And as I mentioned, Khan was trending on Twitter Friday night for exchanging barbs with prominent combat sports journalist Ariel Helwani. Besides Khan's announcement, the confirmed lineup for the February 22nd Dynamite includes Jon Moxley versus Evil Uno, Orange Cassidy defending his All-Atlantic Championship against Wheeler Yuta, The Acclaimed versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill, Saraya versus Sky Blue, and a tag team battle royale to determine the Guns challengers at AEW Revolution. AEW has also announced a promo segment with Bryan Danielson ahead of his Iron Man match against AEW World Champion MJF at Revolution, and a Christian Cage interview segment with Tony Schiavone as well. Now, speaking of Rampage last night, it did feature the return of one Keith Lee, sporting a bit of a different look. You can see it right there. Now, some might be saying, did he dye his hair? Keith Lee is naturally grey. He's been grey for a long time. He's dyed his hair for a long time, and seemingly, he's now got the all clear, I don't want to dye my hair anymore, so he's not going to do it. Keith Lee is officially back on AEW programming. He's got Swerve Strickland firmly in his sights. During the closing moments of Friday night's AEW Rampage Slam Dunk, it seemed as though Dustin Rhodes was headed for the same fate that befell Lee during the Holiday Bash special back in December, when Strickland, Boudreaux, and the man known as Trench ganged up on him before Strickland hit a diving foot stomp with a cinder block placed on Lee's chest. Before he could deliver a similar move to Rhodes, whose head was resting atop a cinder block, Lee's music hit, and he came to the veteran's aid. Both Strickland and Boudreaux were distracted by the music, only for the Limitless One to appear behind him and take them both out. Before Lee could deliver a final blow to his former tag team partner, though, Boudreaux jumped in front to take the shot instead. Strickland and Boudreaux eventually made their way back up the ramp as Rampage went off the air. Of course, Lee made his AEW debut last February and started teaming with Strickland roughly a month later. It was then that Swerve in Our Glory was born, which ultimately went on to win the AEW World Tag Team Championships. That partnership effectively ended at Holiday Bash, though they were at odds well before things actually got physical. At Ring of Honor Final Battle, 11 days prior to Holiday Bash, Swerve turned his back and walked out on Lee, leaving him to pick up the victory on his own over J.D. Griffey and Shane Taylor. But seemingly Keith Lee is back, and I would assume all roads point to Revolution for a possible match between the two. Speaking of matches for Revolution, it would appear that the Elite are going to be defending their AEW World Trios Championships against the House of Black. The Elite's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks may be AEW World Trios Champions right now, but they've got their eyes on them, specifically those of the House of Black, following their successful trios title defense against AR Fox and Top Flight Friday night on AEW Rampage. The Elite were met with a spooky surprise courtesy of Brody King and Malachi Black. This, of course, follows their Blink and You'll Miss It appearance during Wednesday's Dynamite, which saw all three members, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, briefly flash across the screen during a segment involving the Elite, Fox, and Top Flight. While they haven't performed as a trio since the January 4 edition of AEW Dark, it appears as though the House of Black has firmly inserted themselves into the Trios World Championship picture. As for the Elite, fending off challengers isn't anything new for Omega and Matt and Nick Jackson. Since regaining the Trios titles on January 11 on that episode of Dynamite in the finale of the Best of 7 series against Pac, Penta El Zero Miedo and Rey Fenix, the Elite successfully defended their championship on 3 occasions. Once against the Firm and twice against Fox and Top Flight. Last week, Black admitted that, quote, "It would make more sense for us to chase the Trios titles. I feel like it's time for us to do something that turns more heads than just being the House of Black and just giving people an extra reason to bite down on what it is that we present to the world. And seemingly, it would appear that, again, the House of Black are going to be challenging for those titles at Revolution. So expect that to be certainly sped up in the next couple of weeks as we get closer and closer to the pay-per-view. Hangman Page nearly didn't make it to Dynamite on Wednesday night, and there's a really interesting reason as to why. AEW's Hangman Adam Page has revealed that a border issue almost saw him being detained before Wednesday's AEW Dynamite. The former AEW World Champion spoke about the baffling issue during a live signing for High Spots on Thursday, saying, quote, "I almost got detained at the border last night too. I might might have ended up in Mexico by accident. I still don't know, but I had to go through a border crossing check, and someone in the car who was not an American citizen didn't have their passport. I flew into San Antonio and then drove 2.5 hours to Laredo, because Laredo would have been 3 flights. And that's just too many. It's one too many at least. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. You tell me. You're from Laredo. You tell me how I went through a border crossing without crossing a border. I don't know. But we did. We almost got detained. But I'm here. I'm not in prison in America or Mexico. I'm doing well. On the Wednesday, January 15 episode of AEW Dynamite, Hangman Adam Page would defeat Kip Sabian before being confronted by the Blackpool Combat Club. With an appearance from members of the Dark Order muddying the waters slightly, Moxley would challenge Page to a Texas death match at AEW Revolution. Of course, that match is going to take place and seemingly will be the culmination of his feud with Jon Moxley. Now, speaking of Hangman Page, we've got more footage from the upcoming AEW Fight Forever video game, and newly released gameplay footage from the AEW Fight Forever video game recreates an intense battle between Hangman Adam Page and Bryan Danielson. During the January 5, 2022 episode of Dynamite, Page, who was the AEW World Champion at the time, put the gold on the line against Danielson. The two had battled to a time limit draw the month prior. Page and Danielson had a bloody war in their rematch to kick off the TBS era of Dynamite, but in the end, it was Page who nailed Danielson with the buckshot lariat for the 3 count. The AEW Fight Forever video game is being showcased at IGN FanFest, a 2-day virtual event. The event features special announcements and trailers for movies, TV shows, and of course video games. In a new video posted on IGN's official Twitter account, gameplay footage of AEW Fight Forever was on full display, reimagining key moments from that Hangman Page vs. Danielson title match 1 year ago. The clip shows entrances for both Page and Danielson in the game, which is very much in the style of WWF No Mercy and a Nintendo 64 game released in late 2000. The video mixed with clips of the actual match between Hangman and the American Dragon, while also showing gameplay footage to go along with it. Fans get to see Page perform his signature moves such as the Deadeye, a fall-away slam from the top rope, and his buckshot lariat finisher. Danielson's Psycho knee is also showcased too. A release date for AEW Fight Forever hasn't been revealed, but it will be available for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC too. But again, no definite date as to when the game is indeed going to be released. Speaking of AEW Dynamite and speaking of next week, kind of touched on this earlier when it comes to things that have been announced for next week's show. And on last night's AEW Rampage, a pair of notable free agents were announced for the upcoming Revolution Tag Team Battle Royale. After recently noting that they had no tag bookings together, it seemed that one popped up for a popular pair of free agents. Announced on last night's AEW Rampage, the entire field for the upcoming Revolution Tag Team Battle Royale, set for Wednesday's edition of Dynamite, not only were Top Flight, La Faction, Igobernable announced for the match, also set to appear is Aussie Open. Aussie Open have previously appeared on AEW television in the lead up to AEW's and New Japan's Forbidden Door crossover show. Aussie Open had made appearances in New Japan Pro Wrestling, starting at New Japan Royal Quest in August 2019. They have also been known to appear alongside Will Ospreay as part of the United Empire faction. This Revolution Tag Team Battle Royale is not to be confused with the elsewhere Casino Tag Team Battle Royale, both of which are being held in AEW to determine who will join the match already made for Revolution, in which the Guns will defend their newly won AEW World Tag Team Championships against former champions The Acclaimed, as well as the winners of each of the respective Battle Royales to compete in a fatal 4-way match at Revolution for the tag team titles. So certainly interesting to see who indeed is going to punch their ticket for the tag title match at the upcoming pay-per-view. Mercedes Monet has met Kenny Omega. Of course, it's a big weekend for Mercedes Monet. She's going to be making her New Japan Pro Wrestling in-ring debut. And Mercedes Monet is back and ready to make history yet again. This time in New Japan Pro Wrestling, with her major match coming up at New Japan's pay-per-view Battle in the Valley tonight, February 18. Monet is speaking out. In a series of interviews, Monet shares her perspective on her exciting upcoming battle with Kairi for the IWGP Women's Championship. When speaking to Justin Barrasso from Sports Illustrated, Mercedes noted that she had to continue to follow her childhood dreams in professional wrestling. Regardless of how things worked out with WWE, The SI article refers to the departure as due to a mixture of broken promises and creative frustration because there was no other choice. Monet said, quote, "I had no other choice. I had to chase this dream. I am an MFing history maker. I am a first-timer. That's what I'm known for. And this is the first step in my global tour. It all starts tomorrow night when I become the IWGP Women's Champion, a championship I plan on taking all over the world." The hotly anticipated return to the ring is set for the pay-per-view Battle in the Valley, as I mentioned, where she will face off against Kairi, and she has also confirmed her next appearance for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Of course, as I mentioned, she's going to be facing Kairi at Battle in the Valley this evening. But Mercedes has now revealed when she'll be competing in the ring for the first time in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling. In an interview with the Under the Ring podcast, the former WWE star was asked what attracts her to Japanese wrestling. Mercedes answered, quote, "I think it's just the realism that comes from it. Feels like a real legit fight and sport. In the United States, it's really about the entertainment aspect. But in Japan, it's about the athleticism and the sport of wanting to beat your opponent." Revealing that she was in the crowd for Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Great Muta at Pro Wrestling Noah and her upcoming appearance in Tokyo, Japan, Monet said, quote, "I actually got to be at Pro Wrestling Noah for the Nakamura and Great Mutas match and hear the crowd and just to hear the different reactions of how their energy is presented when they watch wrestling. It's just so magnifying where I'm just like, that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to experience. It's just timeless. They're just so transformed into watching and feeling it instead of being overall entertained. They're just like, wow, claps. They just treat it like it with so much respect that I'm just like, I can't wait to perform in April in Tokyo." On hoping to integrate some of that American culture into New Japan Pro Wrestling, Mercedes stated, quote, "I'm not quite sure due to it being an American crowd and the first time that I'm performing in 9 months, I expect the fans to be really loud. That's what I want. I want to bring the American culture to Japan as well to let them know that they can be loud and go over the top, but tomorrow night, I'm not quite sure what the reaction is going to be. I don't know if they're just going to be quiet and just into watching and just cheering for good things, or they're going to be so loud and into it, which I'm hoping and expecting it to be. I just expect it to be awesome because it's a sold-out crowd. It's a sold-out Civic Center. I just think it's going to be one of the best pay-per-views of the year. I mean, this card is so stacked, and as a wrestling fan alone, I'm excited to just sit back and watch as well." Now, also, during her time in Japan, specifically for that Wrestle Kingdom show, she met Kenny Omega for the first time. In a YouTube video, Monet speaks about her nerves over the new chapter of her life, the people who have contacted her, and reveals that she actually received a message from Triple H. Speaking with Raw Emotion, Monet says she can't believe that this is happening as she built up to her appearance at Wrestle Kingdom in January of this year, saying, quote, "I really can't wait. I'm really excited for this chapter in my life, my career. I'm really excited and nervous to even see my own potential. I've been dreaming non-stop of all these possible matchups and that I get to have, and the fact that my first match will be against Kairi and to really help kickstart this women's division for New Japan Pro Wrestling, which has never been done." She reflected on leaving WWE and wondering what's next as she tried to build her new identity after years with the company. Monet would reflect that Sasha Banks was everything that she wanted to be as a child, but Monet is everything she wants to be now. She would chart her time in Japan and the differences between her time in WWE and what she's experienced so far. She said, quote, "The greatest people start in Japan, then they leave it for WWE. I left WWE to go here. This is where I want to be. This is the place to be. I want to make it the place where everybody wants to be. I want to have everybody talking about this place." We also got to see her reaction to meeting Kenny Omega, both early to the venue, with Omega talking about speaking to Monet in the past about her desire to be in Japan. The elation that Monet shows following her New Japan debut is clear as her belief that the best is yet to come. Certainly some really interesting videos, and I would recommend to go check it out. Certainly the moment between Monet and Kenny Omega itself is very interesting to see. Now, Thunder Rosa, there's been so much discussion recently about Thunder Rosa, her AEW status, her return to TV as a commentator and all that kind of stuff. Now, on February 8th, Rosa joined the Spanish commentary team at that week's Dynamite taping. Rosa has since confirmed that she'll be serving as a Spanish language commentator while she recovers from her injury. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Rosa revealed that she has increased her training, noting, quote, "I'm taking my time and rehab is going well. I actually lifted. I did deadlifts for the first time, 5 little pounds. I'm feeling a lot stronger. I want to make sure that when I return to the ring, I'm ready mentally and physically. I want to give the best show that I can, and the new Thunder Rosa is coming. I'm focusing on myself and what I need to do when I return. When I come back, everyone will know I'm coming back. Every setback is an opportunity to work on things you don't work on. I'm doing my homework now. The same person that left 7 months ago can't come back." Now, obviously, there was a recent meeting to smooth things over and clear the air after there was significant heat on Rosa following her departure or injury or hiatus, whatever you want to call it. Whether things are actually smoothed over, we'll have to wait and see. Finally, the house always wins. When are we going to see the house always wins? Well, Tony Khan, by all accounts, is waiting for the right time. AEW President Tony Khan wants to wait for the right time to release the House Always Wins footage. AEW, of course, is set to start doing house shows with their AEW House Rule series on select weekends. This starts with the company's second ever house show, which will take place on Saturday, March 18, from the Hobart Arena in Troy, Ohio. On April 9, 2021, All Elite Wrestling ran their first ever non-televised live event that took place in Jacksonville, Florida at Daly's Place in a show entitled The House Always Wins. Appearing on the latest edition of Sports Guys Talk Wrestling podcast, Tony Khan discussed their first live event and mentioned that he's waiting for the right time to release the show to the public. Praising his team, including Rafael Morphy and Jeff Jarrett, he stated, quote, "We have these great opportunities. We have a great team working on it. We've had great AEW live events. I've worked closely with Rafael Morphy and the team for a long time. Now we have, on top of that, we brought in Jeff Jarrett, who is one of the greatest minds in pro wrestling on the promotional side, but also in the ring. What a strategist. Truly still one of the best. He's come in and been a great wrestler for us. I have so much respect for his mind in and out of the ring." Reflecting back on the promotion's first house show and his plans to release it to the fans, Khan said, quote, "On the wrestling side and promotional side, he's had a great impact on our live event business. He's a great person to have in our locker room. The House Rules is the next step. I started this movement, and that's why I wanted to work with him. Rafa and I put on an event with our team in Jacksonville, our first house show, The House Always Wins. It's become almost mythical because I've never released the tape. I've been waiting for the right time. People still talk about the main event for the TNT Championship, Darby Allin versus The Butcher. The Butcher ended up getting injured. He had a hand injury that not only put him out of the music business, but also out of the tag team and wrestling business. The House Always Win featured the Elites Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, Darby Allin, and Eddie Kingston also as well. And again, I guess we might see that some point in the future, maybe when a streaming service does indeed happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But there you go, guys. It's the latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking that join button, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.